Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, a show dedicated to all things watches, with a special love for micro brands and their affordable range. I'm your host Praka, and some of you might know me as Kinda Average Watches. Join me as we explore new releases, share tips on building your collection, and put in some overtime with hands-on reviews of the latest watches. Whether you're a bit of a pro or you're just getting into the hobby, this podcast will keep you entertained with great stories from the people in the industry, casual conversations, and guest hosts who bring their own unique perspectives. Let's get started. Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, proudly sponsored by Watchpoint. Today's episode, I have someone special from the other side of the world. It's happening more often and not because there's some superstars on the other side of the world. This guest is a watchmaker from Canada, from Ontario, Canada. You can correct me if I didn't quite say that right space. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's welcome James to the podcast. How you going?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you for having me. It's an honor. I know, you're humble and who you've spoken with, but having I think the most recent was Chloe you had on, with her launch, and I'm excited for that. And I think you've had Mike Pearson from Christopher Ward on, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
happy to be here.
appreciate you taking time to come on. So I haven't even introduced your brand, of course. I mean, look, this is James, but he runs Canuck Timepieces. Canuck being a Canadian, is that a sports team? Because
Okay.
pardon my ignorance, but please
Yeah,
let me
no,
know.
no, no, no. It's fine. So a long time ago it was a slander towards a Canadian, but it has morphed into more of like a patriotism thing where it's like unfortunately patriotism gets washed out because of other things right now, but
Sure.
the but it's like being a proud Canadian, you're a Canuck, which is why yes, there is a hockey team out in Vancouver,
Yeah.
They've been around since I want to say the late 80s. And yeah, so Canuck is a term of endearment now.
Ah.
Is what it's the complete opposite of what it was 100 years ago. So, uh,
Amazing, amazing, cool. I guess I mean our equivalent's probably Aussie, but I don't think it ever was a slander to
mm,
slander before. But cool, great to know. All right, well, look, before we get sort of deep into it, we start off with the wrist checks on the show. So I think I know what you got in your wrist, but for the audience,
mm.
please let us know what's in your wrist.
So it's my current release, which is under the Origins series. There's only five for each piece right now, but it's the Nature.
Awesome.
It's hard because I'm like in a really bright light here,
No, that's fantastic. Beautiful
but
dial.
it's obviously you'll post something about it, but it has a maple leaf in the dead center of it. Instead of a traditional second hand, it's a maple leaf cap. And then it has something called picture stone, which has like four or five different names. Basically, it's a non-precious stone, which I like. It's something that I have not seen on a watch. Traditionally, you would see malachite or blue sandstone, or which is aventurine,
Hmm.
that tiger's eye, things like that. But
Yep.
I'm like, you know what? With this, when I saw first time I saw it, I thought of it as like it looks like layers of earth. So to me,
Hmm.
that's very interesting. I love geography. So for me, learning about geography and history and things like that. So I get all nerdy with that. But it ended up being each style is one of a kind because of it's a stone, right? So
Hmm.
it's unique and different. I don't think I have, so I have two that I'm working on right now. One is going out. Actually, both probably should go up by the end of the week, but
Hmm.
they have completely different dials from what is on my wrist now, so
That's
it's kind of
awesome.
cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, I guess the stone just reminds me of a little bit of our Red Earth in WA.
Yes.
We sort of have that
Yeah.
Pilbara, far north, Western Australia, but it's a bit more of a red because of the iron in the
Mhm.
in the rock. But it's super cool. So you said geography. Sorry, are you like did you do geography when you were studying, or is it you just like
No,
geography? No, yeah,
no, my wife and I have always loved to travel.
yeah.
So even though I'm, some would say quite young,
You
my
are
wife and I
young. You do
I
look very
am.
young.
I'm 36. I turn 36 next month.
All right,
Not next
cool.
month. Still October in 2 months. And I've been married for 13 years, and my wife and I have been everywhere except for Australia and Asia. Asia will be ticked off our list next month.
Cool.
But yeah, Australia will be the only, we're not counting Antarctica.
Yeah,
That's
that's a little hard to get to, but yes,
But
yeah.
yeah, so we love to travel. Like, we actually lived in Uganda for 2 months
Oh,
many years ago. And so
cool.
that was a lifestyle shock, but it's a life-changing thing. My wife and I are big fans of you should explore not just your own country, but also the world.
Yeah, yeah.
See how everyone lives. But
That's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. We can get into a little bit more about that, into your travels and where you're going to be next month. We've sort of alluded into that, but yeah, I'll tick off what's on my list. I have a Formex Essence 39. Yeah, I actually it's my best mate's. I've he's let me borrow it for an extended period. I've had it for a couple. I'm gonna say about a month now. Yeah, look, I can't really say much wrong about this. It's a great watch.
Has that been your daily wear lately then? Is that
I don't. It's funny. I don't really have like a daily wear. I know does it sound bad? Like I rotate through my watches so often that I just don't. I
no,
can't. Yeah, I don't know.
you have a you have many,
Yes,
then you want to wear them, right?
exactly.
So for me, it's different now because of the brand that
Of
I
course.
sold off. I sold off almost all my new watches, and I really only have vintage watches.
Mm,
And I have a soft spot for. I know it's funny, Timex. I have a
it's
soft
amazing.
spot for them. I love their Q. I like vintage watches, so like their Q Timex like series to me is. I'm like, yeah, just buy one of those if you want something more reliable than the made in Taiwan ones from the 70s.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
far more reliable now. But yeah, so it's different. It's unique from what because I've been wearing this nonstop, like the one I have right now, because it's almost for me, it's like a testing, like a proving ground. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna let the kids knock into it. I
Mm.
dropped it this morning as I went to put it on. Sapphire crystal, so therefore it's fine, and
It's
there's no
fine.
scratches at all on it. Kids ding into it, like
Yeah,
it always said it's more of like a testing ground for me right now.
exactly.
But
You should write that. I mean, if you haven't in your blurb and the one, it's been hand tested and it's been worn
I hand
double.
assemble all of them, so
It's
it's
true.
not like
It's
that's
true.
another thing, which is rare, I think, in the micro brand space outside of high horology,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
think.
yeah, for sure. No, no, I think you're definitely right there. All right, look, I wanna start off with yourself first, right? Okay, so obviously you're into watches, and you've been into watches, and hence why you're making watches. But how did you get to where you are now? Where did it all start?
It's actually an interesting story, and I may catch flack if people can listen to the entire story and not like destroy me to start because what I like growing up, my dad and I don't see eye to eye on many things. However, he always had nice watches. He's in the financial industry, and he always had Hamiltons, Breitlings, and Pegs. Like those were the kind of like his three favorite.
Mm.
His favorite watch was the Men in Black, the Hamilton Ventura, which I
Ventura, yeah.
yeah, and he still has it. You know what I mean? Like it's like that was back in late 90s when he I think he
Mm.
got it. I could tell you where he got it from too. He got it from, if anyone knows who Warren Buffett is, one of
Oh
the
yeah,
biggest
yep.
people in the world. He used to host like a conference in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska.
Mm.
And there was a jewelry store there that was very well known because the financial industry, people would come visit him. So he bought the Ventura from there, and it's kind of like a cool story behind that. So I grew up thinking it was only for people, that live the higher lifestyle to have watches, right? And, you know, funny enough, because of how old I am, like I grew up in the 90s. So like I used to wear a watch. Like I was a kid that wore a watch. The first watch I ever had was a Nike sports watch, which, like ended up
Nice.
being like the Y2K looking type watches. I remember having those. I remember having like a Timex Ironman, like, like those types of watches. And, by the time high school rolled around, like I've always been into fashion.
Sure.
And so for me, one of my I'll call it idols in quotes. It was Pharrell Williams, and
Yes.
and obviously now he's like Louis Vuitton, right? So it's like, but when I was growing up in high school, he had a skateboard team, and so I thought he like was like an idol to me because he was like, okay, you can create music, which I love. You can dress up in a suit, but then you can also wear like hip hop apparel with big, massive like ice cream chain,
Yeah.
like Jacob watches. And yes, I had one of those fake Jacob watches, like all kids did in that time. And yeah, so throughout that, it was kind of like just throw on what was available. I think my parents had gotten me something around that when the first watch I ever purchased myself
Mm,
was I was 13
mm.
or 14. I still have it. I just realized I didn't bring it downstairs. It was a Seiko. And at the time, it was an entry level automatic Seiko watch, which I think was the 5S or 4S R. I can't remember. It
Okay.
basically was like before the NH came out,
Oh,
uh,
yes.
because
So,
it was one of those watches that like I look back now and I'm like, why, now that I love like the history of watches, I'm like, why did they make automatic watches without wind? It makes no sense. I'm like, what do you mean? You
the
have to shake
shuffle,
it
the
only?
shuffle. Yeah, the Seiko
Yeah,
shuffle.
yeah. So
That's it.
like, oh, by the way, that watch sat for like 15, 20 years. I pulled it out, I shook it, it worked perfectly. So
There you go.
like it's one of those things that, sake of reliability
Exactly.
kicks
Yeah.
in. Um,
7S26, right? Is that what you say talking about?
is
The
that what it is? Yeah,
predecessor.
that's
Yeah, that's the.
that I no, I think that's the new one.
Oh, okay.
I
So
think
the
it's like a
predecessor.
4S26 or something like from
Right.
like
Okay.
back.
Okay. Well,
It
send
was
me a
like
photo
actually
later.
like,
I'll chuck it in the show
yeah, it might have been
notes.
like 99, 2001 or something like that,
Right.
something like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It's too bad because like it's funny. I now I regret not having it because it was
Ah,
like for the time it made, pun intended, it made sense. It's a very unique design. I think it actually stands up to like almost like a micro brand look now.
okay.
And
Right.
Seiko doesn't really make something like it anymore because it wasn't a fully circular. It had more like not this shape, but like a shape, like it was like that type of roundness,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't completely circular.
Sure.
Uh, oh, by the way, it's an integrated bracelet, unfortunately, so I can never switch the strap, which is very frustrating.
Especially if you
But
like it, right? Yeah.
yeah, and so fast forward a bit, you know, more when I got married young, so I went into the age of I probably never because at that point smartphones started to kind of take over,
Mm.
and I'm like, well, I don't need a watch. Doesn't make any sense. Wore like the like Vans and stuff, Converse, Chucks, and all that. So, and I was always into sneakers. Was I guess the hobby I was into prior to watches, and I've always been into history and design from hence like my fashion, like I enjoy fashion.
Mm.
And so looking at, the sneaker world at that point, started getting back into sneakers probably like 2018, 2017.
Mm.
And, I didn't have a ton of money at the time, but, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start, caring about my sneakers again. And, you know, ended up getting quite deep into the space. I got up to like, I don't know, 80 pairs of sneakers. I think I'm
Oh,
down
wow.
50. Still have 50. And so there's like a lot of people in the sneaker world when I transitioned to watches and people were like, "Oh, why do you?" I said like, "I have the sneakers that I want. Something that, I've taken the skill I learned when I was into like the sneaker space. Not that I'm not in the sneakers. I still follow along. I just don't
Sure.
purchase with it. And that's photography.
Mm.
So because of, my design, I like the creativity. I can't draw, can't draw, can't paint, can't do anything artistic, but like I'm like, oh, maybe I can take pictures because
Yeah.
I love architecture, I love visuals of things, like I love nature, right?
Yeah.
So I started getting into photography, and I became, I guess, a sneaker photographer for a short time.
Yeah.
I was gifted
Nice.
sneakers, like I was deep into the space. I was on podcasts
Oh,
like at
wow.
least a
Yeah.
month or two, and mainly because for me, it's like if I'm going into something, I'm not going to be sounds it's like an old word now, but poser. I'm not going to be a poser. Like I feel like if I'm invested into something, that I want to understand it as a whole and not
Mm.
just be like, oh yeah, I'm into this, and because I bought this, that makes me part of this
S-
space.
yeah. Mm. Yeah.
And that's some people would say maybe that was an elitist way to look at it. It's not really. It's just when it comes to being like a real person, I think, it's like I've always been into like value, right? Like you shouldn't have to spend, thousands of dollars to be into watches. Like you
Mm.
can like how many Casio and Timex collectors are out there, right? Like, and it's like they know more than most people that, in high horology that would own a Patek, as an example, right? Like, yes, there are watch enthusiasts that understand Patek. And like for me, I can respect Patek because I'm like, no, that's like horology and like design and like, you know, but there we know because of the cost, there are a lot of people like, I just like it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm a watch person because I have this watch. But then you show
Mm.
them a Q time. This is just because I said Q Timex before. You show them a Q Timex and they're like, oh, that's trash. It's like, well, it's not. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the past that they've brought to the future, and there's more to it than what you think from a cost.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The perceived
And
value is
yeah,
such a big thing. And yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I've met people from spectrums, like having watches like that, but still appreciating, like chronology at many levels. But then there's also like what you described, where I think I saw a video the other day where this guy said, "Oh, what's your new wrist?" And then it was one of those type of videos, when they go around asking people what's your new wrist. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I haven't set the time because it didn't really matter because it was
Mhm.
just it was a fashion thing more
you
than
know,
the time, which yeah, which it was I don't know what it was, some GMT something GMT Master 2, I think
Rolex
that's what it
GMT
was.
probably
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's always that.
But it was
But
yeah, it was interesting
that's
though.
not a
Yeah.
hate on
No,
Rolex.
definitely.
Just to clarify that, it's not. It's just very common
Yes.
as a piece to showcase and
Yeah,
show off, right?
of course, yes.
Because
It's
everyone knows.
aspirational, and yes,
Yeah.
I get that. Yep.
And so like to start the transition over
Mm.
into watches, something that I've noticed and like, I didn't even mention car culture. Cars are like were my original first passion, which makes sense with design, right?
Yeah.
I like modifying. I still like modifying my cars, but I think one of the interesting parts about the sneaker world versus the watch world, and it's the reason why I decided I'm like, you know what? No, like I can go, like not I can go. Like I feel like my how I look at design, how I look at just there's a lot more depth is what I'm trying to get at.
Mm. Mm.
Like the sneaker world, I can't make a sneaker. You can do Nike by you, Nike ID and design like colors and like they send it to you. But I always like to tinker, modify, things like that, right? It's like for me, it's like, okay, well, there's only certain things I can do, which is why photography became an outlet for me at that point, because I'm like, oh, I can play around with different angles, different lighting, different and learn and go into the wild and like
Mm.
put this I did on feet more than anything.
Sure.
And there's like this like moment where it's like, a sneaker enthusiast will go, oh, well, it's not this. Well, why would you get that? And it's like, there's only four major brands. There's Nike, who's Nike Jordan. There's Adidas.
Mm.
There's New Balance, Asics. You could throw Puma into it if you really wanted to,
Sure.
but they're not really in that big four right now because you have those
Mm.
four. Outside of that, there are small sneaker brands, but there's only so much you can do with the design of a sneaker. without it being AliExpress, Temu
Mm,
looking. You know what I
mm.
mean? Like without like it's like I look at high fashion sneakers and I'm like, that literally looks like something I could buy for $40.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh well, it's made here and the leather's here. It's like that's great. It's not worth $1,000. It's
Mm.
not worth $2,000. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like with watches, I'll transition to how I
That's
got
all
into
right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The My father-in-law who passed away, I guess it'll be 2 years in February. Yeah, so it's pretty recent.
Sorry.
It was around the time I got started to get into watches.
Sure.
And it has to do with it's kind of funny outside of that story. My wife and I took our kids on a New Year's cruise. And at that time, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should take like a sports watch or something, you know. But before I went, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to bring it. I have my phone, whatever. If anyone who's been on a cruise before knows that Wi-Fi either costs money or it's absolutely terrible. So reality is I turn my phone off, I put it on airplane mode. I literally use it for pictures and I use it for the time
Mm.
at that specific time. And we talk about addiction to social media and our phones. Every 5 minutes, I feel like I would look at my phone, not only look at the time, I would unlock my phone and I would open an app. I would like without like it was just like muscle like
Subconscious. Yeah.
yeah, subconscious. I would open it every time, even though there was nothing I could do. I would unlock it and open an app. And I remember when I got home during the trip, I was like, what am I doing? This is bad. This is not good for my health.
Mm.
I actually got home, started, I think I spent like, I don't know, tens of hours, like probably more than that. Just, I need to get a watch. I need to know what kind of watch to get. And, the typical, Teddy Baldessar,
Yeah.
which by the way, I will say I do like Teddy. Like, I
Yeah.
think I respect Teddy because he's really good at hovering between the
Yep.
spaces,
Yep.
even though he definitely is on the higher
And
spectrum, getting
mm.
Kevin O'Leary, but hey, he's getting Kevin O'Leary into something that's not $100,000, right? So
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
so for me, I highly respect him, but then of course, I'm like looking at watches. I'm like, do I get a Seiko? Do I get an Orient? Do I get something in that price range,
Sure.
or do I just get something cheap? And talking to people, they're just like through YouTube, through Instagram, they're like, yeah, just buy something that you can if you don't like it, it's not a big issue. So
Mm.
this would be that watch that I
Nice.
bought, just
Casio.
the typical
Yep.
A158,
A158. Nice.
and it has a different strap on it now, just because I just throw it on when I want. But
Sure.
hot take, I think it's the best watch of all time. Hot take. Because
Okay.
and there's a reason for it.
Tell me why.
It's not like if I worked like it's my personal, I think like my personal
Yeah,
view.
of course. Of course.
Not like if I'm taking my bias out of it, it's probably a Rolex Submariner
Sh-
because of again, it's like when I factor in, I have to look at like, hey, do people know outside of as an enthusiast know what this watch is?
Mm.
Well, yes,
Mm.
but I think what is amazing with this and the Submariner, they haven't changed. They haven't
Mm.
changed. Same watch. Now the Submariner's increased in price,
Of
but
course.
it's become popular. This hasn't. Still the same price. It's
Mm.
25 Canadian dollars on Prime.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like no matter what, you can have a billionaire wear it, or you can have someone that maybe they scrap money together to get it, just to have a watch. And I
Exactly.
think to me, that means a lot from a timepiece perspective
It's
because you can style it a way that it has a metal bracelet. It has like you could put a leather strap. Like I have a World Time that I've modded to a.
nice.
It does not look like a typical cheap watch
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah.
and I think that's part of that journey in that sense, right? Now, I also blame this watch for the journey I'm currently on
Because
because
it
I was like,
kick-started everything then.
yeah, I'm like
Again.
this is
Yeah.
great. I'm like, this is great. and that morphed into I think I bought a Duro next because I'm just like, I wanted something a little bit, I wanted something big, but I wanted something that I like didn't have to worry about jumping into pools or
Mm.
whatnot. And I guess I could, if you had anything before I jump into
No,
wild brand
no,
stuff.
no. I mean, I was just gonna say the A158. I've just been recently talking to a friend who's bought, I think the A158, and there's another one which just starts with a
There's
W.
the A168 that has the better lighting on it.
Right.
Or the A700. A700 is a nice watch.
Yeah, I just honestly can't remember
Looks
off the top of
nicer.
my head, but he's gone the full like I'm gonna go hydro mod, get the hydraulic oil
Yeah,
in there, hydraulic yeah, and all that. So he's currently working on it
that's
right
fun.
now. So yes, it is. But I was literally talking to him about it a couple of days ago. So that's super cool. I before we get into so this is the full where we got to now. So came the Casio Duro, then these other couple of Casios, and then what made you then go, you know what? This is not giving me enough. I want to do more. And I assume that's where we're heading.
That's how, yeah. So I started to look at, 3 to 5, because this is Canadian dollars, by the way,
Yeah.
$300 to $500 price range at that point. And I'm like, yeah, I want something mechanical, automatic, right? Like I want something that looks a little nicer that I
Mm.
can dress up. And it actually pushed me into vintage watches at that point. And I got into I like things that are genuinely more unique and not like an out of the box look. Or if it is out of the box, it still needs to be something that maybe other people don't have.
Sure.
And it doesn't need to be expensive. So when I was looking at vintage watches, and I'm just like, well, what are these? This is Soviet watches, right?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who are into vintage watches that's how they started as well. And for me, it was like a very interesting, almost like a time it told a story. Is
Hmm.
Soviet era, right? Like Soviet era regime and all that. And it's like, not that I support it, but there was something to it where it's like, this is really cool that I can buy like something for like $80
Yeah.
and have something that was worn on the wrist from someone decades ago,
Exactly.
and it looks nice, and they're very durable. They last a long time. If they do break, you just get another one.
Yeah.
And
It's more than just
yeah,
the
so
watch, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
the story, the history
yeah,
behind the watch as well.
think I didn't bring the my favorite my favorite Soviet one down. It was really cheap. I think it was like $50 or something. But
Yeah.
there's something. This is from the 1950s.
Okay.
Yeah, so 1950s, before Vostok became Vostok,
Hmm.
or Vostok, or whatever you want to call it. They had a sub brand called Kama. So it was like
Oh
a
yeah.
so it had like a
Oh,
pressed guilloche dial.
beautiful.
The numerals, like it's a beautiful watch. Actually, the movement in it is beautiful. I'm not going to pop it right now just because it's a press, so it's
Yeah,
not
of
like it's
course.
something
Yeah.
I don't know. But this was something I'm like, oh, this is like so cool. I didn't know I could have something like this. And 1950s, that's wild that like I can wear something from that time. So that got me into like the vintage. And I think around that time I ended up buying Orient Kamasu,
Classic.
because and there was like the ruby red dial one.
Yeah, the first version or the second version?
For sure.
First version. Nice. Yep.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
said so that was like, honestly, that was the first watch that I was like, wow, that's beautiful. That was affordable, right?
Yes.
And I don't have it anymore. I sold off almost all my watches to start the break. So it's not but it was the first watch that I like when I wear around, I'm like, oh, I'm proud to wear this. This is a very nice watch.
Yeah.
And
And so you should.
yeah,
It was a great watch. Yeah. Orient is
yeah,
very underrated. Yeah.
I again, this is not a knock on Seiko. I like Seiko. It's not that. I look at Orient right now versus Seiko right now in the budget range, because I think
Mm.
Seiko does a very good job right now with their Grand Seiko range
Yeah.
and their Vanek. the Vanek.
Yeah, King Seiko Vanik. Yeah, that they've done. Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful watches.
yeah,
Beautiful. But
yeah.
what happened to the affordable?
Mm.
Affordable watches.
Have all just
That's why
sort of
micro brands,
slightly creeped up, and then Orient's
they-
sort of taken
but
that
they're not
space. The
worth it.
micro brands, yeah, yeah, yeah. Price wise, they've gone up, but yeah.
And
Mm.
it's like, oh, well, there's history and all that. And like, that's to kind of go back to sneakers for a second.
Sure.
Seiko and Nike are on the same kind of spectrum with, Jordan Brand, they'll continue to sell. And that's kind of like their King Seiko, Grand Seiko range.
Okay.
And then you have Nike that their sales have been down consistently for the last year and a half to 2 years, and they're like stalling. So much so where last year they put a job offer out for a designer. I'm like, pardon me, you should not be making that public. Like, especially when
Yeah.
all the other brands that you're competing against are doing new designs and being very successful with it,
Crazy.
and you're putting you're looking outside and you are the king of sneakers,
Mm, mm.
and you're almost showing like, oh, our armor has been pierced.
Yeah.
And like you have Seiko the same way, where it's like, hey, Seiko, we know what we're doing. We've forever been the affordable brand. And it's like, okay, well, now you're releasing something that is, don't blame supply chain, because
They're
Orient's
vertically
the same price
integrated.
and it's
Yeah.
under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Why are Orient's the same price and Seiko's are
Mm,
double the price for less spec,
mm, mm.
right? And it's like, oh, well, it's heritage. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't have heritage and do nothing different
Sure.
at all.
Sure.
Like you can't give me you yeah, you can't give me
Yeah.
a proper clasp. You can't give me something that secrets out, people. AliExpress, they're on AliExpress for
Yeah.
like $20
$20.
for a
Yeah.
proper clasp. And it's
Mm.
like, Seiko, you can't put that on your watch. You can give us a pressed clasp that's on a Timex that's $50. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys
Yeah.
have quality,
Yep.
but it's
Yeah. Sure. There's a penny pinching in areas where you don't really need to,
well, it
especially.
makes me like, they say supply chain, and I'm
Uh,
like, I think it's a supply chain thing doubling. I said,
mm,
especially when everyone else and micro brands can offer
mm.
something, more affordable
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Or if it's the same price, and then people are like, oh, it's not all about specs. I completely understand that, because yeah, you could make the ugliest watch in the world with the best specs, right?
Sure.
Like
Sure.
no one's gonna create a GMT world time floating dial, like everything, and then,
Yeah.
oh, crochet on it. Like, no, you can't do that, right? Like
No.
it's be, oh, sapphire crystal, of course, and it's like with a S Prod or a So Prod
So,
movement,
yeah.
or no, it's ugly. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to sell it and it's
Yeah.
going to be overpriced.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
can't.
it's
Yeah, it's not all about that, but yeah. So it's, I know, I completely understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think fans of the podcast will know that I'm a big Seiko stan, but I also go hard in the bits where I sort of say, look, I think they need to do better in this and this and this. So very much,
Seiko needs to
yeah.
bring these beautiful
Oh yeah,
1970s quartz era watches back. This
we
this to me, golden age Seiko,
100%. I
ironically
agree.
enough, being quartz,
I agree.
but this is like the most beautiful watch, and it was like $180
Yeah.
Canadian shipped to my house, and it's absolutely gorgeous. From the indices to the
Everything.
dial.
There's so much thought about the design and the
Look at the case.
execution, and oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I love that. Love that.
it's
Great.
an
That
absolutely beautiful piece.
gradient
And
dial, amazing.
we talk about the transition, right? So like
Yeah.
for me, the transition happened when I started to look at the 500 to $1,000 watches, to like, I guess it was a year and a half to 2 years ago, right? Or a
Hmm.
year and a half. Yeah. And I went, now obviously micro brands have exploded since then. They're having a moment.
Yeah.
And I saw, these 1970s designs, well, I think the 1930s to late 80s best designs
Hmm.
in watches, in my opinion. And I know it's a hot take. If you're a diver person, you would disagree with me
Yep.
because that's not diver era. It's
No.
very much dress
Yes.
and slim. And yes, there were great divers during that time. That's not what I'm saying, but
Yep.
I think that divers are much better now. And because they have a purpose, they look really good. They're starting to introduce dials that are traditionally not on divers,
Mm.
right? So
Mm.
there's so much more to it.
More to
Well, who is it?
explore.
Look at Yema. Yema
Yeah.
introduced a crazy Torbjorn diver just because
Diver.
they.
Because they can.
And I'm like, I think that's cool. Like I wouldn't buy it, but like it's like
Yeah.
the coolest thing. I'm like, good for them. I
Yeah.
want that, and I think that's where micro brands have stepped in and gone
Mm.
like, hey, you want something different that you don't care about necessarily the brand recognition. You care more about design.
Mm.
And that's what kind of introduced me to that space. Now, I hate to say it, it was AliExpress that I first got introduced to because of
Of
it.
course.
And, so Steel Dive was like, I'm like, I don't want to pay three, four, $5,000 for a proper Willard.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy this Steel Dive and wear it because I'm gonna wear it to swim and stuff, right?
Yeah, of course.
By the way, it's an unbelievable value. If you don't
Crazy.
care about if you care about specs only and you don't care about original design, I don't think there's a better cheap diver that actually holds up than Steel Dive.
Yeah, it's
And
like
that's
what,
again, if you don't care,
$100, if that. Yeah.
yeah, I paid $65 for mine. Now they're like 95, but like
Yeah, wow.
that was when NH35s you could buy for
Okay.
35, 40. And
Right.
now they're close to 80, 90. They're
Sure.
expensive now, but yeah, but the point is like that's how I started. I'm just like learning about, specs, learning about, I started to like, I'm like, well, maybe I can just take something apart and figure out. I like to tinker.
Sure.
So when I was looking in that $500 to $1,000 price range at the time, there wasn't like a ton that I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, well, maybe. And then of course, because I was on AliExpress, I'm like, wait, how much is it? Wait, I can build a whole watch for $100? No way. That's crazy. With a sapphire crystal, with AR, right? Like it's like
All the
I'm
specs.
not saying it. Yeah, I'm not saying that's what everyone should do,
Sure.
but I had friends in the watch crunch community,
Yeah.
like, and just like many communities, like Red Bar would probably be the same thing where
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, it's just a copy. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It is a copy, but I'm learning, right? I'm trying to understand the value behind what a watch costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a good way to assess that is by buying something cheap and trying to understand, okay, why is this cheap? Why is the Orient worth what it is,
Mm.
as an example? And I think Orient is, yes, superior to anything in that price range. Maybe you might throw San Martin, but again, like San Martin's slowly transitioned away from copies.
Yes. Trying to do original
And they're more
designs
expensive
now.
now, right? Like I
Correct.
think the price that they're at totally makes sense for what you get now.
Yeah.
Because you're in that micro brand range. There are other micro brands if you want to support someone that is smaller, you can
Mm.
do that, and it's
Mm.
in that same price range. So it's not like I don't think Sam Martin's taking away the buyer that Sam Martin's buying. You know what I mean? Like I don't think. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I know what
Like
you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think
Sandman's not
it's
eating the lunch of
there's a crossover, there's a
yes.
Venn diagram, but like it's not as large as I think when Sam Martin was doing it originally.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, it's just fakes and copies, and yeah. So I made a watch that I've now taken apart, obviously, to do prototypes with. So
Sure.
it's not like I don't have that original one anymore.
I
And
was
people
gonna
are like, oh,
ask,
you
is it framed somewhere?
no, because like I actually it's when I started to get a following actually with my watches.
Hmm.
I have a friend in Singapore who I'm very, very, very excited to meet in person because we talk daily for the
Amazing.
last year and a half. And if you want to know him, it's Wristed and Wasted on Instagram. He doesn't post as much.
If you're into microbrand and independent watches, which you clearly are as you're listening to this podcast, you gotta check out Watchpoint. Watchpoint is the newest destination in Melbourne, Australia for microbrand and independent watches. But it's more than just a brick and mortar store. It's a hub for watch enthusiasts. Come check out brands such as HZ, Bazel, Second Hour, RZE, and Monbray, and other exciting watches you won't find anywhere else. Watchpoint is also your go-to website for buying said watches, exploring microbrand profiles, discovering new releases, and staying informed with editorials, industry insights, and buying guides. So if you're keen on trying out your favorite microbrand watches, drop into Shop 304, Level 3, the Block Arcade on Collins Street, or visit watchpoint.com.au or check them out on Instagram at watchpoint.au for more.
Yeah, so, made the first AliExpress builds, understanding, and that's when I started to gain some followers in the watch space. So it turned from fun into, it was still fun for me. It was just, okay. Like, started to make connections with people, the friend in Singapore that I started to connect with. And basically I started just, making watches just for fun to be like, okay, I want to make watches that I like. And so at that stage, it started to snowball a bit and better understand, how to, I guess, take it to the next level in some cases. And so my friend in Singapore started to actually motivate me a little bit to be like, hey, you should start a brand. And I'm just like, no, I'm not starting a brand. Like, I'm doing it for fun. Like, there's no way I'm going to start something. Everything I do is just for fun. Then around Christmas last year, I think I started like the Canuck Timepieces account around the Toronto Timepiece show, the first one last year. But like I didn't, like, it was just like to post like custom pieces that I've made, right?
Sure.
And
were you selling them at that point when you made
no,
these custom? No, just for fun, for yourself.
No,
Yeah.
And then I started to have a few more friends that, I started to connect with. Of course, they're all other side of the world, ironically enough. Or I guess on your side of the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started to realize that, maybe you see it as well, but the North American Western, I guess, ideology towards most things, not just watches, is very brand oriented, right? It's like you have this brand. Not to say it doesn't exist, in Australia or in Asia. It very much does, but the enthusiasts don't care as much, I find. And because you can have someone that enjoys Rolex and also enjoys micro brands.
Yeah.
And I said that, like, it's starting to happen here more, but there really is like that separation of like some people, some groups that are just like, oh yeah, you have to attain a Rolex, you have to attain, a Longines, you have to have, something like Omega, you have to get that next step. And I feel like I started to gain a lot of friendships in Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, China, like Hong Kong. And I asked one of them point blank, I said, I'm starting to see micro brands and understand them a little bit more. Like, I noticed that you guys tend to gravitate towards them. Versus here, where it's like a lot of micro brands are like trying to like, hey, they have to like over market to like be like, yeah, we're recognized because we have all these people that follow us, versus not in Asia and Australia in that case. And it's, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist in those places. I just find that enthusiasts, it's starting to happen now, but like a year ago, I feel like there are a lot of enthusiasts that are like, hey, I don't care about the brand either. I care about design, and some people about the movement and how it's made. And I found that really interesting. And at the beginning of January, after getting pushed by my friend in Singapore every month, like, you should like launch something. Like, no. He's like, no, you have an eye. I'm like, okay. So I launched like a custom. So I started to do customs in January. I sold, I think I sold about 6 watches in 4 months. So like I did, like, considering I didn't have a large following, I think I had like 90 or 100 followers.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot. I started to sell, and I became friends with one of the people I sold to. He's based in Bali, and
Oh yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, but we'll keep that anonymous.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So, well, it's interesting because, like, I didn't know when he connected with me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were so deep into watches. I thought it was just like a connection and be like, oh yeah, you should check out James. Like, he makes custom watches. Little did I know this person has like Pateks
Yeah.
and like very expensive timepieces. And I remember as I'm talking to him, I didn't know. I was literally told from the friend, yeah, he like has like these. I'm like, no. And I made a watch for him. Like, I was very proud of that watch. I made an enamel pin into a watch style for him. So like I grinded it down. I don't have like CNCs or anything. I literally got a Dremel and sanded it down. Like, basically used a Dremel to grind it down, like 0.01 millimeters by 0.01, like making sure it was like straight. And I have to give him a ton of, like, I would say, credit in like pushing me and helping me understand even deeper, how to create something. And when I finished that piece, I started to get, like, we formed a little friend group. They're almost all, there's about 4 or 5 of us. They're in Singapore, Bali, and Thailand. And they essentially were like, yeah, I think you should like do like a brand. And I'm like, yeah, but like it's already a brand. Like, no, like a real brand. And I'm like, well, like, it's just for fun. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
And so when May rolled around, I built a watch for the Dansum out in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I put my logo on a watch, like a true logo, which is my logo now. And they had basically said, like, I sent shout out to Dan Man, the Dansum, because he was the first person who, like, as a content creator, that supported me and wanted to see me succeed. And I remember when he got the watch, and I didn't know him. Like, everything was like a video call that we had like before the collaboration, and like through messaging on Instagram. And I remember the first time finally meeting him in person this year at the Toronto Timepiece show. And I realized, like, he was like, no, you like, no, I love how your watches come. It's the best. I'm like, well, you made a video about it, but I thought you were just like blowing smoke.
Sure.
Oh, he's like, no. Because he like brought me over to like a brand. He's like, look how James from Canuck sends his watches. I don't need boxes. I need this. And so, like, it's the watch,
hand roll.
right?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
And it's signed, and like, it's like, and Dan asked me, and he's like, oh, why do you do it? I said, because I think that you should be able to bring your stuff with you. Like, if it's the box, like, you're not going to bring the box.
Yeah.
And, Selton sends it in this, and I like that too, right? Something that's very, yes, it comes in a box and stuff, but like, I truly think there should be something that, like, it doesn't stay in the box. Because the reality is, it goes into a watch box, or it goes back into the box.
That's it. Yeah.
Those watches out of the box again.
Out of sight, out of mind. You put it in
Forget about it.
a wardrobe somewhere, and that's it until you sell it one day, if you do.
Yeah. So in May, I started to make that transition where I was like, maybe I do a brand. And June, I launched the Unity in Art series, which is
Gorgeous. Yep.
my, I guess, introduction to the industry. And it's made of surfite. So that was another thing. I wanted something that I didn't want to do copy and paste. There's a lot of, I'm not saying everything's copy and paste, but I didn't want to have something that looked similar or else it doesn't make sense to me. Like I would just buy the other brand. Because I'm thinking of from a consumer that doesn't buy everything. I'm thinking of a consumer like myself where it's like, okay, if I'm going to buy it, I need to know that I'm going to wear it and it's not just going to stay in my drawer. We all know as collectors, there's still like, I still have, yes, watches that stay in my drawer and I just forget it.
You look at them one day.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, we kind of I looked at that and I found like Arcanaut. If you remember Arcanaut, right? Arcanaut, Fordite dials. And I'm like, what is that? That is the coolest thing. Looked it up, Fordite, automotive paint runoff, grind it down into an epoxy to make it into that. I'm like, cool. I want to make something like that. I found someone, I want to say like November last year when I was doing customs. And he's juxtaposed. He's based in Colorado. He makes Fordite dials and surfite dials. Well, I just kept it on my Etsy. He sold on Etsy at the time.
Yep.
And kept them saved. And then like the brand, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do a brand. I'm like, what was that? What were those dials? So unique. And I'm like, surfite. I don't know anyone that does surfite dials. Still don't. And
No,
I'm like,
I haven't seen it. Yeah,
no,
the best one. Yep.
surfboard paint, right? Like it's like, and you know, so when I did the release, I'm like, I'm gonna do a limited release, only 5, because I think, and this is not a knock on any micro brand, right? If you have the money, go ahead and do it. But I think a lot of, and I see it between both shows, like the 2 shows that I have been to in Toronto, is that there's this huge upfront investment if you're doing manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people talk about it in the micro brand space because they don't want people to know, yeah, it's manufactured in China. Well, of course it is. It's either assembled in Switzerland, which is not made in Switzerland.
Exactly.
Especially I meant like in a Solita format, right? Like we know that Solitas are not, they're assembled in Switzerland, but they're not made in Switzerland, right? The reality is.
Yeah, of
and
course.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
The volumes that are being made, you can't keep up. Exactly. They don't have that kind of capacity. Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's one of these things that my wife and I are very, like, we love to plan. We're very analytical. She's far more analytical than I am, but I like numbers. And, you know, I have a family. I got kids. And I'm just like, hey, I don't have what I found out to be $50,000 to $100,000 to invest into, you know, 200 to 300 pieces.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I don't even know if they're going to sell. And I see it, and it's unfortunate because there's a ton of great brands out there, and they stall. And I think the reason why they stall is because they still have pieces from a year ago. And it's like, yeah, like why would you release something new? Yeah. Or why would you do a restock? Like you don't have restock, you still have those pieces. And I work in the e-commerce space.
Sure.
So for the last 12 years, I've been in the e-commerce space, software. So I worked at Shopify. I still work with Shopify. And that's what I see is like brands that come into the market that there's already something like it. And that's fine. But they invest and they invest and they invest. And it's like, well, at some point, it's going to hit a wall. Now you can do it right at the beginning, or you can ease into it. Yeah. And, you know, from the beginning, there obviously was a hesitation for me to even to start something, just because like I'm not a Swiss watchmaker. You know what I mean? Like I choose not to build a movement from scratch. You have to have much more expensive pieces.
Sure.
Of equipment.
Machinery and tooling and
Uh,
equipment and yeah,
yeah,
I understand.
shout out to Loathe watches in Singapore.
Oh yeah.
The Tristan is just unbelievable. I can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah.
But I'm not at that level. We're friends. I said, but like I'm not at that level, and that's like it's. I really like design. I think of myself as a designer at this point. I like assembling them mainly because I like doing my own QC. I do limited runs right now because I need to better understand the financials.
Mm,
I want to sell through. I don't want to overexert my family.
of course.
You know, if I don't have the money, like, hey, a lot of people do have the money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Jonathan Ferrer had it to start, but like, like having that much marketing right off the bat, I assume he had something set aside to be able to do
Sure.
it
Yeah.
at Brew.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Of
Brew
course.
successful
Yeah.
because he has a background in it, right? Like
Yeah.
I think he was a designer or he worked at like a brand prior,
Yeah.
was able
Doing
to
design.
doing. I don't come from that background, so I didn't know the ins and outs. Like I don't have the connections, or I didn't have the connections, and it's about easing my way into it. And I think at this stage, I've been very very fortunate to have this release.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, I was about to bring it up, and I guess well now, I mean, obviously, the audiences cannot see what you're holding up, but it
No,
is the collaboration with Ando. So,
correct.
how did that come about?
So that was when I was because even though I had done the release with the Unity and Art series,
Yep,
I still made custom pieces on the side for myself.
sure.
I would consider it prototyping, but this, I love my family and I love Disney, Disney, and I found Ando. Obviously, when I was making watches last year,
Sure.
and I hadn't made anything from him, but he had spoken about or he had posted about like this case like over a couple months, and I kind of messaged him like, hey, I'm not sure if you're like selling it, but like I'd love to like make a watch with it, not for sale or anything. I just
Mm,
want to create something for myself. And like 6 weeks went by, and he's like, yeah, we're not going to hit like our manufacturing goal, but I have 5 cases.
mm,
Do you want one? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like obviously I paid for it, but like
yeah,
I'm like, sure. So I made this. It's a Masu Black dial.
yeah,
It's from Namoki. It's not like, again, this is not my brand, right? So
yeah,
like I'm like, yeah, Namoki, I'll just grab a Namoki dial, Namoki hands, and then I like the yellow. I think it was from AliExpress, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's for me. I don't have a problem with like making a cheap part for me because
mm,
it's more for me. It's not like something I'm gonna produce for a ton of people. It's
sure.
more of like I need to understand if this is gonna work. Okay, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Then I will produce it, and I will get more expensive, better, high quality parts
yeah,
because this
yeah.
is for me,
This is
not
prototyping stage, really, essentially.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I did it on my personal account, which is not a watch account. It is mostly a sneaker account. At 9 o'clock at night on yeah, like 9 o'clock at night. I tagged Ando in it. I woke up the next morning and had like a ton of messages and a message from him saying, hey, do you want to make this? And I'm like, yeah, but like I don't know much, in regards to, like I don't have like the money to spend like to do like 100 or
Yeah.
whatever. And he's like, no. He's like, would you do 20 or something? Like, how about 10? And he's like, okay. And like when I released this, I think it really was the springboard for a lot of people were able to, see me
Yeah. Yeah.
and be like, oh, who is this? Now, obviously, like this is not my case. I will say it's a lot closer to like my design language outside of the case. Hence, like the I haven't released a lot of photos of the Cosmos. Like it is technically, and then it's a guilloche,
Mm,
absolutely
beautiful.
stunning.
Beautiful.
But the reason why I haven't is because the hands actually come. They'll probably come in today. It's the hands that will go on. Oops, that will go on this watch,
Okay.
that
Yep. Which is the yep. Yep.
which is
Yep.
the Vortex hands that I
Yep.
co-created with you
Mm.
at Ando, which I'm very proud of. They're going on this watch as well, so I didn't want to post something that I didn't have actual, like
Fair
this
enough.
isn't act, which is why I've been heavy on the nature. Right now,
Mm.
heading into spring sprung, I actually will have that prototype finished with the hands.
Cool.
These were sold out very quickly. These sold out in it blew me away. Sold out in 9 days. So I was
Yeah.
very
Yeah, I was going to say a
that.
couple of days. I remember you posting about it, and then
Yeah,
I think it was like two left, and then one left, and then it gone.
yeah. When I posted that, they were like gone, and both of them were gone in an hour. So it's
Amazing.
yeah. So that not kind of it was the springboard for people seeing and understanding the design language. Obviously, not the case, but yeah, like I really love neo vintage look
Mm.
where it's like okay vintage but like if you can think of like Back to the Future, right, what
Yes.
we all thought would be some like oh yeah this is what it's going to look like and it looks like something old with something from like Star Trek, you know what I mean, like
Yes.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like it doesn't make sense but like
I know exactly what you're saying. It's kind of like futuristic,
it's
but like
it was
old school.
neo vintage, like motorcycles, right, neo
Yeah.
vintage, right, like you have Honda that produce something that it looks like something from the cafe racer days, but it has a modern headlight and like
Mm,
that's obviously the only thing that most people notice. But
exactly.
it's something that really helped me beyond, and because of that, I am heading to Sprung,
Which is going to
and
be what we were talking about before. So yes, so Spring Sprang Sprung, which for the audience who don't know what that is, it is a watch show that is happening in Singapore. Now I'm going to pull up the dates because I can't remember off the top of my head, unless you know.
yeah, November 8th and 9th.
There you go. Spring Sprang Sprung in Singapore, November 8th and 9th, and I believe it's their second ever show. So the first one was last year, and this is the second one. And it is in the National Design Center in Singapore. So there's, of course, alongside James, there's a ton of other brands going as well. Some big micros, independents in between, and yeah, just many brands. It's super cool. So obviously I will leave the link in the show notes for that. But so in Spring Frank's Prom, you'll have the finished product. Is that what you is that or the
Yeah,
prototype?
yeah, the finished product of the black hole.
Yep.
Uh, I think I'm gonna leave it on display for you, like you. For I know.
You from Ando. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was going to help him in the booth. I said, like, I've got, he's like, no. He's like, you need to go and go network the whole time. Fine. I said, okay. And it's, I won't have a booth or anything, right? Because, like,
Sure.
again, I've had a few people, like, in Toronto, like, oh, you have a booth? I said, no. And they're like, why not? I'm like, I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not going to push something. And I don't spend, like, at this stage, I haven't spent any money on marketing
Mm.
because I think, not I guess my ideology behind the brand really has to do with community and unity
Mm.
and connecting, right? I think it's more obviously if you get bigger, it's not probably won't happen if I do get bigger. But I think growing something that you have a following that is very engaged, that
Mm.
is what makes something successful. You could have 50,000 followers, but if you have 10 likes on a photo,
Yeah. Okay.
that you post,
Mm.
it doesn't really mean anything
Mm.
because clearly clearly you're not selling something in
Yeah.
that case because the engagement's not there. And like you see a lot of like the micros that do have success, like Brew, I do like bringing them up
Sure.
because they do get a lot of engagement. They have a decent following and it's growing and
Mm.
they sell watches because they have that following. It's I like to think of Selton, Brew, Lima,
Mm.
and I'm probably going to leave someone else out. But those are ones that I looked at before launching as like success stories.
Okay.
You know, technically they compete. Technically, I would technically compete with all but Selton, I would say, because Selton's price point much higher.
Sure.
But I look at those three. So I look at Lima. Lima's kind of like, I guess at this point, the OG of a micro.
Yeah,
And
I've not many people bring up Lima actually, but yes, they definitely have some funky designs.
yeah, and Lima very much to me, like you look at the Chrono Sprinter, obviously is what kind of brought them
Yes.
to the broader market. I said, but I think something that Lima does extremely well is they do have their own design language, even though they have different watches that are designed differently. It's still a very Lima-esque approach to
Mm,
it.
mm.
Then you have Brew, that obviously that is their design language. Like, I love vintage watches. Well, guess what? I do have a Brew because I don't have the one that everyone thinks I have. I have the Retromatic, which I won in the Dansum giveaway. So
Ah, nice.
it's one of those things that uh, you can talk about design language for days, but the reality is that I think you need a following. I think you need someone, multiple people backing you, engaging, to be able to get a brand out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I talk about Selton, even though it's like, oh, it's competitor. I'm like, yes and no. I said, because Selton is what they do. I don't even know. I don't know how they don't have 100,000 followers personally. I really don't. Um,
Yeah, that I
oh,
mean, yeah, I've handled their watches and they are special. And yes, I get what you're saying.
I have one
There
because
you go.
it's the only purchase I made this year.
There you go.
It's the
It's
only one outside of
gorgeous.
my own prototypes.
This is the
Yeah,
CNC
like
Guilloche, sorry, Tahitian mop dial.
Tahitian.
Yeah.
I can't make this watch for this price. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like
Yep.
it's one of those things that it's absolutely stunning. And they did the Jui with
Watch
Watch On
on Co. Yep. Yep. Yep.
and Jackie. Shout out Jackie, he's great. And it's I have something planned for next year.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do a broader release. My plan is to do 50 to 100.
Okay.
And I've been very fortunate to grow the community of content creators that I speak to on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, right? Like, I don't think, and I've connected other micros with people that I talk to. And I
Sure.
think that's something that people are like, oh, why would you do that? Well, if my brand's about unity, why would I not
Mm,
help? I think, like, if I truly like their design and I truly think they're in it for the right reasons, of
mm.
like, I love watches because of design, because of horology, because of history, because of, like, and they aren't doing it for the money. Of course, we all want to
Yeah,
do it for the money. We all want to do it as a living,
of course.
but we all know, like, hey, you can do a copy and paste brand and hope that you make a ton of money off of it.
Yeah,
Not deep in, not necessarily a community, but not deep into the enthusiast part of it.
for sure.
Uh,
Sure.
and yeah, so I'm very excited. I will
Y-
say that
Yeah, I was going to say, what can you give us in terms
I
of
can,
design or
yes.
I guess even complications, maybe? I don't know. I'm just putting it
Yeah,
out there.
so right now, all my watches, I use NH38s just because. So, I don't like ghost dates. I
Yep.
don't like unless they're on like a watch where it makes sense. And people are like, well, they would make sense on depending on the design. I think divers and field watches, 100%.
Hmm.
Put a date on it because it makes sense. They're a rugged,
Yep.
everyday piece. My watches are not like that.
Yeah.
I have had creators and people like, oh, are you gonna make a diver? I said no, and people will say why, and I'm
Wine.
just said, I'm not saying I won't. Hey, if it continues to take off, maybe I will.
Sure.
I I think that if you own a diver or if you sell a diver, you should be able to swim with it and do everything.
Yeah.
I, from a selfish perspective, I don't want the risk of someone going on for a swim and going, "It's a diver. Why did it leak?" And I owe
Yeah.
them a lot, right? And at
Yeah,
the
fair
same,
enough.
I really, really do care about QC. I
Sure.
do care. Like if it's not perfect, I'm not going to send it. And my wife sometimes just, "What? You're buying another?" Well, I have to. It's not right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's one of these things that the the design. I haven't got the case yet because I'm updating to a Miyota 9000 movement. I want to do a Miyota 9000.
Awesome.
It's a better movement. Not a knock on NH. It's just NH
Yeah.
are workhorses. They're
Bulletproofed, but yeah, I get it.
bulletproof. Yes,
Mm.
yes. It's like it's just if I am going to go into this space and at my current price point, on the high end of my current price point, I want to put something in that has a smoother sweep. To be honest,
Yep.
I do want to keep it in the Japanese just because of reliability.
Yep.
A lot of people ask like, "Oh, Salida." It's like, you know what? I not knocking Salida. If I was going to do a Swiss watch, I think Swiss made, I would probably go up to Le Jeu Perret.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a
Yeah.
little bit more, like a little bit more expensive, not on more. But I personally think I think Isotope uses
Yeah.
them
Mm.
or S Prod or but like they're or S Prod. I keep saying S Prod.
It's so
So
proud.
proud.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
But it's one of these things that if I'm going to do Swiss, I want to do it to a premium level
it. Mm.
and not from level Swiss level, or else you could just do Ronda, right? You could do a quartz
Yeah.
Swiss movement, right? Like Swiss in
Yeah.
quotes.
Mm.
And, and so from a design, the case isn't finalized, but the hands are 100% finalized. So
Okay.
I'm doing something that was popular pre 1970s.
Okay.
Uh, I'm doing a take on a mystery dial. So I think it's kind of fun. So since I started planning this like 2-3 months ago, there's like more and more mystery dials coming out. I'm like, of course. When I thought of it, no one was going to do it. But yeah, it'll still be unique enough because I keep the neo vintage aesthetic,
Mm.
so it does look more, I guess, futuristic in that sense.
Sure.
It is a take on the Vortex hands. It's not the same Vortex hands, and yeah, there will be a mystery dial aspect to it. That's all
Amazing.
I can.
Amazing. No, that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the term mystery dial, I've seen it around and I've seen on vintage watches. So
Yeah.
I completely okay.
Seiko if you the 1950, it was made one year, 1959 Seiko Marvel.
Yes,
That is
I know that.
the watch that when I saw it back in the spring, actually, that I wanted to do a mystery dial actually to start. It's very expensive. Like it's not like a easy process to design it. So I've been designing it in the background the entire time,
Nice.
knowing that I want to do something if I was able to sell watches. So technically, it's been in prototyping since like April, technically.
Okay.
So it's one of these things that I've been tweaking. I still am tweaking it, but the hands are not tweaked anymore
You're
because I
fixed.
put the manufacturing prototype in, and I will have the mold. Hopefully, I will hopefully have the hands by December. So I'm
Epic.
excited.
A nice little Christmas present.
Well, something I've learned too is that the watch world is not like the sneaker culture streetwear world where it's like, hey, hide the design and then release it. No, that's not how watches work. That's how I found out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really hype it up and
yeah.
then do a release. And so that will be my approach. So
Sure.
I will be probably posting a lot of pictures about prototypes, prototypes will be the ones that I send out before like doing a release.
Yeah,
And
sure.
my plan is to have a release in April.
Okay, I was
That
just about to ask. So April 26
that is yeah,
is the
and it's a
plan.
yeah, and it will be a pre-order. I don't know if I'll do a Kickstarter. I don't know. Obviously, that's probably the best way of doing it, but
Hmm.
something that has been like the reason why I've been back and forth on case is because I've been back and forth on I want to do the assembly,
Hmm.
but it's one of those things like, can I do the assembly from a financial end, right? Because it's sometimes less expensive, not sometimes
It is
in
less
mass
expensive. Yeah. Yeah.
it's cheaper for them to manufacture it in house. However, the manufacturer I'm working with knows that worst case scenario, I just buy 200 sets of hands, 200 sets of dials. I do my own cases in my own way,
Sure.
movements in my own way. But yeah, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be getting a ton of hands because I think,
Okay.
I believe that that will be my design language moving forward.
The
Because
hands.
yeah, and I think it's because of the versatility of the design. Like
Hmm.
I've put a ton of different dials through Photoshop and like how I
Hmm.
do. I don't do my designs like many designers. I cannot draw, so
It
I
has to
tried to
be digital.
look.
Everything's on the computer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looked like my daughter, who's like 9, would go like, "What is that?" But you know, and I tried learning CAD. That did not go very well at the beginning of the year. So a lot of it, and I have a lot of friends close to me in the industry that are like, "How do you do your designs?" And I'm like, "Photoshop."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And
If it works, it works. Yeah, why not?
yeah, you know what? And I've had really good feedback from brand owners that I've slowly become, I guess, watch friends with.
Hmm.
And I will say I won't call them out, but there's one person who really has given me like a lot of motivation.
Sure.
That should help me succeed, but also makes me feel very welcome to the microbrand community,
Amazing.
despite not having the background that many of them have.
Hmm.
And from an emotional state, like it's one of these things that I never thought I'd be doing something like this. Like I never thought I'd be doing, and that's because my wife and I love art. We love design. We love architecture. We love a lot of these things. But because I can't draw, because prior to this, I didn't realize I was mechanically inclined.
Sure.
Like I do things. I have a country property, so I do things here and there. But
Yeah.
uh, I didn't think I had that eye.
Yeah.
And through over a year and a half with my Singapore friend, who's like, no, you need to make it. And then hearing other brands
Hmm.
welcome me, I think it's something that's a huge difference between the sneaker community and watch community. How about that?
Mm, that's I mean that's true. I mean I've found the same so
Mhm.
far, obviously talking to different brand owners in the podcast and like so for most part everyone is connected or they know each other in a way that they even if they don't they know who to reach out to ask for help and people do help and at the end of the day I
Yes.
think it's not about it's not about eating each other's lunch, right? It's sort of like maybe you're looking at the big brands, they're trying to get the big box brands. Like, try something different, try some micro brand, try something custom, for example.
Yep.
So yeah, love that you have made all these connections, and I also love how your brand is so focused on, I guess, the community and unity aspect. So that's just fantastic. So I would, so we've got yourself coming down to Singapore, you've got your next launch, which is, I guess, a slightly scaled up version as well. So, and I do like asking this because I know you said absolutely no divers or no current plan for divers, but is there, have you thought about doing, I guess, stuff moving away from sort of dressy or I guess neo vintage dressy? Maybe some, I don't know, complications in there. I guess that's the, yeah, you know, I guess you
I
don't have to, but you know, would you
I
ever
can
do
tell
it?
you, yeah, I can tell you that. So like the diver thing,
Hmm.
it's very competitive in the diver
Yeah,
space.
100%. There's others out
Also,
there.
a lot of people don't talk about it. Like I've had, mainspring watches. Vincent,
Yes, yes.
Vincent, I have had a chat because Vincent loves Tua watches, right? He has a very specific look, and we actually had a video call very recently, and it's one of these things where he gave me great advice. He said, "Don't become a brand that just bases every design off of what everyone else says."
Mm,
And like because that's the moment that you lose your own brand identity and start becoming what everyone else has and
mm,
does. And I love that. And we didn't even talk about this today, but I won't get too deep into it, but I think there's a lot of the same in the market.
mm.
And that's why like the brands I mentioned, or Atelier Wen, there you go. Atelier Wen is the I love their perception. Oh, such a
Yeah.
beautiful watch.
Or just,
But that watch again, like it's so different. Isotope watches is it's
mm,
Isotope is also another one where it's like, okay, it's familiar, but it's not.
yeah.
And it's
Oh,
not at all. But you're like from a glance, you're like, oh wait, no, oh no, that's completely different than what I expected. And like that's what I want out of Canuck.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
very Canadian. By the way, a Maple Leaf second hand is on all of my watches. It will be on the new one as well, but I won't
Awesome.
tell you that. And with all the like Vincent loves his tool watches, black and white, gray, right? Like it's like, hey, it's always this look. There's nothing wrong with the colors, nothing wrong with that. And like indices, I have people that are like, are you gonna do indices on your watches? Because none of your watches have indices. And the reality is, well, neither does Dennison, and they're very successful.
Mm, yep.
Like it's like, and we talk about Moser. Moser doesn't have any, and they're like, oh well, it's the movement. Well, I get that, but like it's still like there's no
Yeah, it's
issue.
still that
And
same design sort of
yeah,
aspect of it. Yeah, I get it.
and you get back to the beginning of what we were talking about, at the very beginning of fashion and Pharrell. Watches to me are fashion. They're jewelry. If we want to go into a gender, it's
Jewelry
men's
for men.
jewelry. Like you know what I mean? Like we don't have a lot of the things that like some men do wear necklaces, rings,
Sure.
etc. But the people that are like, no, I'll never wear that, will still wear a watch. And so for me, a lot of people do want the legibility, and I completely get that. But I look at watches as a piece of jewelry, not a timekeeping. Even though I use it for timekeeping,
It can be dual
this does,
purpose.
this does it a million times better
It's
than
true.
any mechanical
That's the
watch.
for the listeners is the 5600
Oh, geez.
the G-Shock. Yep.
The beater watch, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
it's what it's that. If you want a watch that tells time perfectly, then just buy a quartz watch. Just buy a quartz watch. But the reality is, we buy them because of the design, art, jewelry behind it. People buy high horology because they want to see the movement and they want to see the intricacies of how the movement is put together. They're not buying it because it's within 10 seconds a year. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
or
mm.
like a minute a year or whatever, right? Like you are not buying that watch because let's be honest, high horology is not on. It's 30 to 60 seconds on average a day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
regulate them. But the reality is regulating means nothing to most it's on the specs it means a lot. But
Yeah.
every day you don't.
Nah, it doesn't.
Especially
Especially when you got a big collection or something, you're not gonna, yeah, you rotate through.
watches.
Yeah.
Right? Especially with multiple watches, you're not wearing that 2 days in a row sometimes. Well, it doesn't
Agreed.
really matter.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pick it up anyways, set the time, wind it. It's another reason why I don't like date. Just like
Oh yeah, it's a pain, especially day date together. Yeah, it's another world.
but at this stage, like I do prefer staying in the dress field
Yep.
watch state. chronograph is not something that I probably will look into.
It's fair.
That's not pipeline or
Yep.
even thought process, because I think that if you do a proper chronograph mechanically, they do get it. It kind of goes beyond what I think is an affordable watch.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're $1,000+ US, I don't think it's affordable in that case. Like, it is affordable from a watch enthusiast, but it's not affordable from an everyday.
Yeah.
And if you're going mechanical chronograph, the only way that you're getting close to that is by using the seagull movement, which is no problem with that. It's just that, why don't you just buy a quartz chronograph in that case, right? Like, there's a lot of great options there for quartz. And I like movement on my watches. That's why the Sultan is like a very great. That's how I love that watch so much. I need something moving, and it doesn't move. It's not. There's second. And I told that to. I said, you have gotten me to purchase a watch that I said I would never buy unless it was quartz. Hence, I love Dennison's design.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's a quartz movement. It totally makes sense. You don't need a second hand. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so it's one of these things that, the brand as a whole, it could morph over time, but the reality is, at the heart of it, it's Unity made unique, very Canadian. With Maple Leaf, I want something that people see it and go, huh, that's unique. What is that? And
I mean, it's certainly that's exactly what I was like when I saw it when I first came across it and across Instagram, like a lot of people. And it's a great. I think it's a great way to. Yeah, I really applaud you for the journey you have made to here, albeit in the grand scheme of things, it's been a very short time scale, but yeah, I can just see this but you've done a lot in this short time scale, and it's just it's going to keep growing. So no, well done there.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm just looking at the time. I think where we are now is, I mean, I could keep talking to you. I could keep hearing you telling me about all these things, but I might have to end the questions bit now, and I might ask you if you do have something interesting that you would like to share, let me know. And yeah, and
so I'll stick to the design and influence of design. As I mentioned earlier, I said my wife and I love to travel. I love architecture. I love design. So much so where when I tell people that I go to Disney World every year, and they're like, "You go to Disney World? Like, really?" And I'm like, I thought that before I went there for the first time as an adult. And I went there, and I was like, something that I tell this to anyone who's not into Disney that is taking their family to a Disney park. Doesn't matter where it is in the world. I said, first of all, it's all about your kids. When your kids see a character, there's no seeing their face is not something you can replicate, right? There's something deeper emotional, right? But I said, if you are beyond that, and maybe you are a couple and your partner wants to go to there, and you're like, I don't know, it's Disney, right? And you look around, and I was like, if you enjoy design and you enjoy architecture, look at it. Actually look at it and realize, like, oh my goodness, how did they do this? And pictures do not give a lot of Disney World justice. You can talk about like Pandora, which is the Avatar world, right?
Yes, sure.
In Animal Kingdom. Pictures, yes, looks unbelievable, but if you're there, you're so immersed. Disney does such a good job at immersing yourself into a world. You don't know that the highway in Florida is on the other side. Like, they do such an amazing job of taking you outside of where you are.
Wow.
And putting you in a completely different world. And again, you can walk outside. As soon as you walk out the other world, you're in another world. And, from a design, and you look at architecture, they don't call their They don't call their architecture engineers, by the way.
Mm. What do they call them?
They call them, oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank? Imagineer. They call them Imagineers because they need to have a background in storytelling on top of being the top in engineering and design. So they have to have more. That's why, like, you see such a huge difference between Disney and how they approach design from other places. And of course, any Star Wars nerd, if you go to any of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, yes, it is like the most immersive experience. You feel like you're on Tatooine. The people that are in those worlds are in Tatooine, as an example. Like, you are talking to someone who lives in that land, not in like a random, like, not in Florida, not in California, not in Hong Kong. Like it's like
fully into it.
Are immersed. And I try to tell people, it's like, hey, when you go places, if you like watch design, if you like sneaker design, if you like any aspect of design of your hobby, and if you want to have a good time going somewhere that maybe you don't want to go to, try and go like to the next level of like, notice little things. Like Disney puts hidden Mickeys everywhere. Everywhere. Things that you like in the side of buildings with vines all in up there, but you'll notice there's a Mickey randomly. And it's like just like the thought process that goes into it. And so at the end of the day, I said, like, yes, I'm a Disney nerd, but like the design aspect is something that I think people overlook because of the Disneyfication of everything.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. And there's more of like storytelling than people think outside of it.
I would have never ever put two and two together, if I'm being honest about that.
I know.
Sorry, that definitely is something interesting. So thank you. I don't think I haven't been to a Disney park in
Well, you're in
years.
Australia.
Yeah, the closest is Hong Kong to us, I think. So I did.
Yeah.
That's where I went many years
Shanghai,
ago now.
Shanghai is a little closer to you, I guess. Like tiny bit, not much closer, right? Or Shanghai North.
Shanghai is actually north, yeah. So I think Hong Kong's closer. But in any case, it was a long time ago. But one day I'll go back to one of the parks, maybe Japan. That'd be nice. We'll see.
Oh yeah, that's a dream for us. We want
yeah. That will cover basis. Or cover my watch nerdery elsewhere as well, and then can do both at the same time. And of course, Mario and everything else, Nintendo. Yes. Anyway, amazing.
Yeah. Universal. Hey, that's Universal. No.
Yeah. Cool, awesome. All right, thanks for sharing. I'll definitely I've left some links in the show notes for Pandora, the World of Avatar, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge because I thought, hey, why not? Because people can have a look at it while they're listening to you describing it. So awesome. Look, I'll wrap it up with I've bought a watch recently. I won't since I'm not wearing it, I haven't really talked about it yet, haven't put up any photos about it yet, so I'm not going to say what it is. However, there's something really cool about the watch, and it came. So the dial is a titanium dial that has been anodized, so anodized titanium, and that's a process that I didn't really know a lot about before. So James is currently on the move.
Yes. I have a titanium dial that I made actually. So it's do you know who Red 5 is? Do you know who Red 5 is in Virginia? He does like styles. He's based in Virginia, I think.
A tattoo artist? No?
Red 5. So like he focuses on specifically Gyo. She's actually done work with Satori Billiard. Yeah. But like he doesn't it's behind the scenes, right? So it's like, but it's talk about Disney. There's the Epcot Globe, Spaceship Earth. That's his dial. That's his titanium dial.
Very cool. Very cool.
So very obviously it's got a endo case on it.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
My Disney there's a airplane and stuff. That's just cheap AliExpress, but
it still looks awesome.
Because it's for me, so it's not like
Yeah.
because I wouldn't sell that because it doesn't like no one would buy it because it's not. I'm just
Oh, you
not
never know. That's actually really cool. I reckon if you do something cool like that, I mean, something like that, yeah, you never know. You never know. It reminds me of a lot of the Ripley watch Alien with what's Gugario, the case design kind of looks like a bit like that.
which one? Oh, like Seiko. It's a
Yeah,
Seiko.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
there's like the chrono that they have, right? I think it's like
Correct.
similar.
Yeah, the Seiko. Yeah, so it reminds me of that.
Yeah,
The chrono. Yeah, the Ripley. Sort of
yeah.
kind of reminds me of.
Funny. I thought it was like nothing existed like it, and then it's like, oh no, there's that. I'm like, oh okay. Well, it's still very unique too.
It
Like
is super unique. It's yeah.
I his case design is outstanding. What he's
Yeah.
able to do. But yeah. So
Yeah. So, but yes, titanium dial and also anodized titanium. And I went into down a bit of a rabbit hole about how you actually do the anodizing process. And depending on the voltage and current that you put through it, you can, change different colors. And anyway,
yes,
very cool.
yes,
Very cool. And also you can do the same setting in the same titanium in multiple different dials, and they all can have a slight variation in colors and stuff. So, yeah, super cool. Um, I'll leave a link in the show notes about how titanium anodizing works, so I think people can read into it. And maybe the next episode I'll talk a bit more about the watch itself, but or maybe the episode after. I'll leave that. I'll leave that for another time. I'm not trying to make it an exclusive or anything like that, but yes, I just haven't really had time to talk about it or take any photos of it properly and put it up. It's been a busy couple of days at my day job. All right, that's kind of it. Come to the end of the show. I had such a ball talking to you, James, and listening to your story. And to be honest, there's so much more I'm sure we can get into. And I wish you all the best, of course, in your upcoming journey to Singapore, to Sprang, where people can come up and say hello. Are you going to be around a certain spot they can come and say hello to you, or are you going to be
I'll
all
probably,
around the show?
yeah, I'll probably post my stories and whatnot. So if anyone's listening to this, follow Canuck Timepieces and follow my stories, and I'll do my best to, you know, tell you where I am at the show. But
Amazing, amazing. And yes, of course, everything we spoke about today, all the links will be in the show notes as usual. So please go check out James at Canuck Timepieces at Instagram. You are very active there, and well, I said you're very responsive, I should say. Not so much and of course, and really into that the watch community there. So yeah, so please reach out. And yeah, is there any final notes before we wrap it up?
no, I appreciate all the support from you, and also like honestly the support from just the Australian community. And yeah, I'm excited for what next year holds, and hopefully I can transition this into a full, I guess, legit brand. I don't know. I'm not legit, I
You
guess,
are
already,
legit. You are legit. Yeah.
but something that I can, make a full-time job. How about that out of it?
Sounds good.
So
Sounds
yeah.
good. Sounds good. All right. Epic. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll leave it right there. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Overtime the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on our Instagram at Overtime the podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, or flick me an email on overtimethepod@gmail.com. I appreciate your support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you would like the podcast to cover in the future, please hit us up. Until next time.